Oh, and I believe we are live. I don't necessarily expect anybody to come in here, but I thought this would be something fun, and then the video ends up on your channel afterwards. So, uh, yeah, it's something to do. Plus, I had tried to rank my 100 favorite movies in the past, and it was just way too hard to start with all 100 at exactly the same time. So, yeah, I broke it down into brackets of 25, so 4 brackets, and then, like, obviously those brackets will eventually combine, and then basically I'll be doing that over and over, like, whenever, like, I guess until, like, it's sorted. It's much easier to add movies to a list than it is to create the list from scratch, especially when so many movies have such um, different types of like enjoyment. Like, obviously, like, it's really hard to say if you like a horror movie or comedy movie like better when like they're completely different experiences. So it's like, yeah, it's a challenge. And so I'm sorry if my mic is absolutely shit. The mic that I usually use completely just died randomly. Like, I think it's just dead. It won't plug in or show up on anything. Like, it's just not reading. So, at least it's not the USB port. Also, if you see me looking, I don't have a fancy streamer set up, and the screen is over here, and the camera is here because I'm really trying hard to do a good setup. And I guess I'm learning with every video, but also like it's just it's a little tricky. I'm gonna grab my brush. Mm. Just don't want to look like a squirrel made a nest in my hair. I mostly put this is it a diadem? One that hangs down. I don't know how you say it. Diadem. Anyways, I put it on mostly to keep the hair out of my face, but it's only somewhat succeeding. Well, not like, yeah, just to keep it from like falling directly into my eyes. I can never get the camera framing quite right. I always feel like I'm cut off in an awkward place. You can't even see my Grumpy Bear shirt properly. I wonder if I just, I don't know. I wish I knew more about everything, I guess. I don't know. Sorry. I know that there's nobody here, so I don't really need to be talking to myself, but it feels really weird to not talk when you're live. I'm going to set up my first bracket in a minute here. The brackets were randomized, so hang on, I'll explain it in a second. I bought this new flavor to try it, and like, it's okay. Not getting any logo display though. No one is sponsoring me, certainly not yet. I wonder, like, a lot of the streamers that I like will pick like a weekday during like usually like what's the morning for me to stream. Um, Often like the afternoon for them. And I was like, oh, well, like I'll do it on like a weekend night because it seems to me that like anybody who's staying in on a Saturday night might want something just like easy, like background noise, kind of a parallel play thing, when you want to be with somebody, but you want to kind of do your own thing, but like you still want the company. So I can be the company if you want. But obviously, that would involve people being able to actually find my channel and my live, which I understand is not super likely. Oh, and if you hear me sniffling, it's not anything like untoward. It's just because the air is really dry here right now. It's still kind of wintry, and I'm just excited for spring. I love how like the chat is obviously universal, so it says like top chat, top fans. It's like 0 viewers. It's just funny. Okay. So the way I did this was, see, I told you hairs were going to get in my face. So I originally wrote all the movie names onto these cue cards, and then I shuffled the cue cards and I pile shuffled them so you know that they were mixed really well. I used to play Magic the Gathering, so I got real good at pile shuffling. I basically just didn't want too much bias going into like pairing up movies. As I was writing them down on this thing, I know I could do this digitally. I'm just a very tactile person. I prefer to just like write things with my, I mean, if I'm writing like my novel, obviously I'm doing that on the computer, but a lot of stuff like this, I just process it better and have an easier time when it's physical. Oh my God, embarrassing. I'm not tired. My body is just yawny. Okay, so I titled these quarter A, quarter B, C, and D. So I guess let's just start with quarter A, shall we? Obviously, because of the odd number, it's very frustrating actually, because number 100 is like, you would think because it's an even number, it would divide very easily into even numbers. But unfortunately, the best you could like, you basically have to go down to sets of 10. So 10 sets of 10 in order to do it with like an even number. And even then, that's not ideal for a bracket. So I just decided to go with 4 because that's, easy enough. Anyways, the point of me saying that is that you'll notice at certain points on the bracket that like one movie won't have to do the first round because it doesn't have an opponent, because again of the odd number of things. So fuck you, Gemini. I hate AI. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Watch my most recent video about why you should stop using ChatGPT and Gemini for search engines if you don't want the entire internet to turn to a bunch of shit. But that is not what we're here to talk about right now. So, got some Scotch tape here. Throw that out. That first piece always has some hair on it or whatever. When you have cats, there's just like hair like in the air, you exist and you're just covered in cat hair. I don't know how to be properly framed. I feel like this is wrong. Oh well. What the heck? Oh. Why am I out of focus? Focus. Am I slightly out of focus? It's hard to like look at the camera and then look at the screen to see if you're in focus all the time. No, I guess I'm back in focus now. Okay. I love how one of the freaking first ones is Escape Room Tournament of Champions. It's like the sequel movie. I figured I would go live before the bracket was completely set up because, like, I figured nobody would be in here for quite some time, if anybody shows up at all. And this way, YouTube has time to figure out if it wants to serve me to anybody, or if anybody has any interest in watching a crazy fairy rank their favorite movies on a Saturday night. It is Saturday night tonight, right? I have a really bad sense of time. I hope I can do this in a way that like everything is going to be visible. I also hope that these will stay stuck long enough. Like, I don't want them to be permanent. Obviously, that's why I'm using Scotch tape. But sometimes Scotch tape can be too temporary. I wonder how new creators start out. Or, that's a dumb thing to say, I guess. I wonder, how creators who are currently famous started. How they just would have done lives with nobody there. Because, like, you have to build an audience somehow, right? And I don't know, I'm trying to diversify a little bit. Where the fuck is Ocean's 11? I feel sort of like Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove right now. It's like, why do we even have that lever? Why did I even make this freaking bracket? Or why did I keep these cards in such specific piles if I didn't put them in the right order? I'm such a dummy sometimes. Hmm. 15 solid minutes of talking to myself. Not exactly a record or anything. I'm sure I've talked to myself for longer stretches. Let's see, what can I talk about while I get this bracket set up? I guess maybe it's better to ask, what's something not annoying that I can talk about while I get the bracket set up? Because I don't want to, like start talking about the shit that I like and just bore everybody to death. That's no fun if I just start talking about something that, like, if I start talking about like K-pop or something, I know that like nobody can. I mean, like lots of people care, but like I don't think anyone in my audience cares, which is fine. To be honest, not that many people in my life care either, and that is totally cool. There's no hard feelings there. But it does just mean that sometimes it's a little trickier for me to think of things to talk about because historically, a lot of the things I have talked about, people have been like, oh my God, can you please stop talking about that? And it's like, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know if I gave myself enough space here. I probably needed to start like I felt like these shelves were such a good idea at the beginning, and now it's like they're sometimes in the way. Anyways, I'll just I'll just move stuff because whatever. If anyone even watches this, it's not like it needs to be perfect. I understand this might be a little confusing without all the lines that are like on the page bracket, but we'll make it work. Yeah, so I never thought really to try to like do a favorite movies list because everybody was always like, oh, well, or if people would ask that, it's sort of like people asking me like about my favorite song or whatever. It's like, well, like in what genre? Because you have to have like qualifiers. like, you know, it's like me trying to explain my favorite BTS song for sure is like, okay, well, like, do you mean my favorite, like, song with all 7 of them? My favorite rap line song? My favorite vocal line song? My favorite song from their early stuff, middle stuff, newer stuff? Like, so I always kind of thought movies were the same, but then I spent a lot of time watching Super Eye Patch Wolf, and he does these top lists of like my favorite things for the year and whatever. And I don't know, I love making lists, but I've never really done that kind of stuff because I find it like kind of challenging to compare stuff, like I was literally just saying. And so, um, that's kind of actually the reason I decided to do it, is that it is challenging because I was like, okay, if Super Eye Patch Wolf can do this, okay, well, I'm not saying I can do everything that Super Eye Patch Wolf could do because that is absolutely not the case. He is somebody that I think that it's they them actually. They're somebody that I idolize absolutely. I would love to emulate them. I try to take as many notes from them as I possibly can. Um, but if something is outside of my wheelhouse, my normal wheelhouse, and I'm like, this is going to be hard, it almost is an incentive to try to do it because then you're not just staying in your comfort zone. And that's something I've done a lot historically in my life. Even moving it, I still have one more to put fucking. Whatever. If anybody rewatches it or watches this VOD, I guess it is, I'm gonna try to like just tell you what's below the sight line if I have to put some stuff there, which I guess I do. I really should have kept these in order. I'm mad at myself for not putting the fucking cards in order because it's making it hard. It's like, oh, well, like if it's random, why don't you just make them random now again? Just pick whichever ones. It's like, you don't understand my autistic brain. And like, I randomized it once and I wrote it down. And now that it's written down, I need to keep that. So what I just stuck up there, that's Labyrinth. And going with it is, oh wait, sorry. Labyrinth is actually, oh. I guess this is, can you tell that I don't do a sport very much? I have no idea how to do brackets. I literally had to Google like bracket template because I was like, I don't know. The first time I tried to do this, I just had everything in an Excel sheet and I just typed the movies in the order that I thought them up. I just like had sat down with a notebook one day and I was like, okay, let me just like, can I even name 100 movies? And I could quite quickly, actually. And I've definitely watched a lot. I mean, I'm no cinephile, but I've dated people who were really into movies and they exposed me to a lot. And also like I tried to take a bigger interest in expanding my palette, which is why you might embarrassing. That's why you might see what you think is a strange selection of movies up here, and it is going to be difficult to rank them. I'm just admitting that outright. So I've just been pulling out the cards that have the movies that are going to bypass this first round and go straight to the second, because they don't actually need to go up right now. This is, again, just first round. All right, 26 minutes of talking to nobody but me. And I mean, I'm kind of nobody. Certainly impact wise and people paying attention wise. I like to keep the hope going, though, that I have some value to offer at some point, that hopefully with enough practice and, oh shit, every time I turn around it unfocuses. Oh, fuck. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I feel like sometimes you have to keep showing it eyes so that it knows that there's a face, or else it gets confused. Silly camera. Also, it's like not a good camera at all. Okay, there we go. Now I'm in focus again. God dang. Yeah, if I can get a small amount of success, then I will upgrade my equipment 100%. But unfortunately, right now, there is not money for that. So I am very sorry about the bad, or I mean, I don't know if it's bad, but the less than ideal quality of my sound and camera. Anyways, let's just finish up this first round of the bracket, and hopefully every time I turn around to stick things up, the camera doesn't unfocus again, which would be nice. So let's see. Okay. So as I was saying, I'm just pulling out because of the uneven number. Again, it makes me mad to say that because 100 is an even number, but it divides into 4 in an uneven number, which bothers me. But anyways, so there's a bunch of movies that are going to be moving directly to the second round because that's how the bracket works out. I'll show you on paper in a second. I'll show you the paper once I have everything up here. So let's see. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, I know it's weird for me to do this. Okay. For me to do this way. I completely understand that it is a little strange because most people would probably just do this in a Google Sheet and then share their screen, and then it would be much easier. And they might not even have to have their dumb face in frame, but I got these fun makeup stamps for different shapes, and I wanted to do special freckles, so that's what you're seeing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I also definitely need to apologize to everybody. I don't know if anyone saw my post or if anyone even reads YouTube posts, but, I had just, like, a total breakdown yesterday when I was trying to get my Arcane episode 8 video done, and, yeah, it just wouldn't work. My microphone died, and I didn't realize, like, literally, like, I don't know, like, 5 minutes into recording, so the entire file had no audio, and so I worked really hard to add all subtitles and music and everything in and make it good, and then, like, YouTube just wouldn't take it. Like, Netflix is so good at catching stuff even with everything all overlaid and, like, trying so hard to get past the filters, I just don't know. Anyways, that was literally the only video I had had time to film in, like, the last 2 weeks, and I had to scrap it. So my channel has looked dead, and, I feel like I'm probably letting people down even though, like, I don't really think I, like, have fans or anything. It's not like I'm a big creator, but, um, yeah, that's why the channel has been quiet, and also I have a new script that's, like, ready. In fact, I actually have it. It's right here, over here. See? Uh, I'm not showing you what's on it, but it is a it's for a video about a horror movie, and it is basically defending a movie that everybody says is bad, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. Um, I won't resent you if you go to bed. I understand it's late. Well, like it's 9 o'clock for me, but or like 9:20 for me, but uh like, I wouldn't expect anybody to stay necessarily. I just talking to myself and, uh oh, good, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm really excited actually to film it. I was gonna film it today, but, the universe just kept giving me signs that I didn't wanna I was like, "No, no, this isn't gonna work." I tried to get a new lav mic to clip on my shirt, for better sound, and my laptop just won't see it, and I'm, like, a good at technology person, okay? Like, I'm a, like, confident problem solver. So, yeah, I burned sage in this room, after the whole audio issue thing because or sorry, it was after the AI video, because, like, there were definitely demons in my in my recording room when that happened. Like, literally, it was like, "Oh, I blew a fuse because the entire room went dark all at the same time," and then it turned out that, no, I didn't blow a fuse. I blew exactly 1 socket, but that socket was what like, my laptop and my lights were plugged into, and then I was like, "Wait a second, my ring light is on a, like, external battery pack, like a big heavy duty one, and, like, I have it recorded because obviously the laptop has battery power, so it kept recording even when all the lights turned off. Uh, Everything went dark all at once, and that light and this light behind me are both, like, on external batteries, and they turned off at the same time, and then I checked, and it turned out the battery was dead, and it's like, okay, I understand that even sorry, unnecessary close-up on my face. I understand that even a battery pack like this, okay, will die, and it was dead, and that's fair because I hadn't charged it for, like, fricking days, but, why did it die at the exact moment I blew a socket? Demons, that's why. At least I can only assume. So, uh, I don't know. It was like sometimes when stuff like that happens, it's just like, oh my God, is like something trying to give me a hint, but I refuse to take that hint. Uh, I have a hoodie over there that said, God is testing me and I refuse to study. I feel like that's kind of my mental space right now. I know, right? This is what I get for being a witch. But I'm so nice to spirits. I don't know how that could happen. And like, there's even a ghost cat that I take care of. So but you know what? I heard that, what's this called? Like Rocco's basilisk, I think it is, which I suppose is like the presupposition that AI might become God. And then if it becomes God in the future, it will retroactively punish people who spoke against it. And and that video, that all that stuff happened while I was filming the video about why you shouldn't use ChatGPT and Gemini AI. So that kind of terrified me a little bit. Honestly, I'd rather that it was demons. I feel more equipped to deal with demons than I am to deal with like, I have no mouth and I must scream. Okay. I can't, I cannot. I know some people think that story is funny. And some people think that it is like supposed to be like parody or whatever. I don't know, man. Harlan Ellison is cool though. He's like literally the only author to ever win a plagiarism lawsuit ever. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so I have 4 of these. So I'm sorry if it's going to be confusing without the lines, but see, this is what I was talking about. I'm really just doing a lot of this for the VOD because like people won't know what the fuck I'm doing. That's why I had this actually, because I was like, if somebody comes into the stream, they're going to have no fucking clue what I'm doing. But because again of the odd numbers, I had to like, I guess there are some that like automatically go to round 2 in like each section. So that's why some of them are set aside. Okay. All right. So we have, one more. Okay. Let's see. Wait. Oh, wait, no, 2 more. It's very sweet of you to keep watching. I feel very happy and flattered. It's nice to talk to somebody other than myself. But like, seriously, I really like, if you're going to bed. Yeah, right. Seriously, AI is so much scarier than demons. I don't know if you ever read any Clive Barker books. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the movies, but okay, well, whatever. Hellraiser 1 is a good time until the very end, and then it's like, why was there a dragon anyways? But anyways, his fiction is really good, like his just like novels. And there's this book that he wrote called Mr. Begone, and it's the first book I read that was written in second person. So it's like the book is like talking to you, and the first line of the book is like, burn this book, burn it, like, and basically through the whole book, the demon that's like in the pages is like trying to convince you to like destroy the book. And then like as you keep reading, he's like getting mad, like, why are you still reading? I told you to stop. I kind of love that kind of gimmick stuff. Also, I'm sorry if the Scotch tape sound is loud. Anyways, this is going to be so freaking difficult because, again, I randomized these movies and Like I just shuffled the cards that I wrote all my top 100 movies on. But like this is the thing where I was like, this is why it's a challenge because how do you compare movies of completely different genres that you get completely different types of experiences from? I don't know, but I'm gonna try. Also, I'm so mad when movies take the names of other movies. That's I mean, okay, I support authors, absolutely buy books. You should also support your local library if you have a resource like that available to you. Um, although I couldn't guarantee that a library would necessarily have Clive Barker or like that specific book because I'm pretty sure it's one of his like very like random like unknown books. Um Also, I was gonna say that I hate when movies take the names of other movies and like it's one thing. I guess it's like so The Ritual, the reason why I had to specify 2018 here is because like there was a movie that came out I think last year called The Ritual. And I'm like, guys, like it's one thing if you take the name of a movie from like the 40s that nobody knew or anything, but The Ritual was huge. So like why like take that name for like another movie? And I got so disappointed too because there's like a local movie theater around here that will show old movies. Like it's an old-fashioned theater. Like we obviously have like the Cineplexes and everything. But there's an old-fashioned movie theater that will show like uh what is it, 35 millimeter? Like they actually get like the reels in of old movies. And so I've seen some cool old movies there. That's how I saw the original Clash of the Titans, which so much awesome claymation. Um, Claymation is really an underappreciated, forgotten art form. um, and I got all excited because sometimes they'll do screenings also of like modern movies for like special events. And so obviously around Halloween time, they will do more horror movies. And um, yeah, so I saw The Ritual and I was really, really, really. Oh, yeah. See, that's why I said if it's available to you. I'm such a like big city fairy that I sometimes like don't pay attention to what resources like other people have. Although it is something that I talk about, especially like I know that you probably don't watch my arcane reactions. I don't blame you. They're like very frustrating to edit together. And anyways, but they have a lot of like really good like social commentary in the show. And something I've talked about a lot is like how in at least in America, like rural communities get just like totally abandoned and then like they start having like food deserts and they lose access to like hospitals and pharmacies and all that kind of stuff. And like that's way higher stakes than a library. And a library is still like a really important resource. And so it's also like, yeah, it's designed for cars. So it's very inaccessible in a lot of areas. Like you have to have a car, which is like a massive expense. And like, I guess like you have to care for it. Um, I'm lucky. Okay. How do I have. How does this work? Oh, I see. Okay. Because I think there's. Because of the odd numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I don't know if I'm doing any of this correctly. I don't sports, so I don't really know how to do a bracket. Okay, well, I'm sorry. This one's gonna just be hard to see because I don't have enough space. I guess I should have done this standing up. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, that's so awful. Yeah, I I'm actually like the job I just got, which has been a huge part of the reason why I can't put out content at the volume I was doing before, because just writing the scripts, like I'm trying to do like a better and better job doing like my scripts and my editing so that my videos are actually enjoyable. And however, I still have to pay bills and stuff. And I was unemployed for a long time because of getting laid off because tech stuff. And now I'm actually working at a nonprofit and like they have two permanent staff members and they're like probably the longest running nonprofit event uh, in like our city, potentially our country. Um, so it's like really, I don't know. It's one of those things where sometimes you look at your tax papers or like stuff and you're like, I really wonder if all of this money needed to go to the police and if some of it couldn't have gone to like museums and like other better programs and like social things that would actually help people. But, you know, uh, that's a whole other conversation. Okay. So quarter A looks like this. So I guess because I didn't have enough space to set it up properly, I'll need to record on the paper like where the winners are, I guess. See, I'm so bad at this. This is why I can't believe I am attempting this, but that's part of it is that challenge is important and pushing the things that you're like unfamiliar with doing is like also important. Yeah. Yeah, I was unemployed almost 3 years. That was pretty rough. I mean, like I had some like part-time gigs and like seasonal work and stuff around Christmas time, but it's it's a thing that happens. Also, like mental illness can sometimes like take different forms and like I'm very lucky that the healthcare I have available to me allows me to have medication, but I wouldn't say that having a full-time job is easy. And yeah, it's I mean it's like I'm such a baby. I am back to working like again, like, yeah, like 9 to 5, and I'm just, like, so burned out and having trouble, like, doing my creative stuff. I haven't worked on my novel, like, at all in weeks, maybe picking away at it a little bit, but I'm like, it's this or it's YouTube, and, like, if I stop YouTube, I'll lose any momentum that I have, and I really like, I have a lot of fun making YouTube and, like, doing video essays especially, and I'm really trying to, like, improve my video essays, like I said. But that takes a lot of time, and so it's just been, like, a lot slower. But I'm really proud of the script that I have, and I'm really excited to film it. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow so that I can, like, just get it in the pipeline. I am a one fairy operation, and I often consider myself like or compare myself to bigger creators, and then I have to remind myself that it's like, yeah, they have like a whole team and I am one. Aw, well, I very much appreciate you. It's something that Butterfingers. Uh, that's yeah, I mean, I have short nails on right now, but when I have longer ones, it's like all the keys are just getting pressed, and I'm a good typist. You know, I should know that word. Anyways, I can type like 82, 83 words per minute. So, not with long nails, though. That is sort of my point. Um, I really appreciate you, though. It's really nice, just to, like, share stuff with somebody who has, like, an equal appreciation. That was sort of part of why I started the channel was sometimes, like, you don't have anyone to talk to in your life, or, like, the people in your life are like, "Oh my god, like, you talk about this kind of stuff too much," or, like, they just don't have the time or appreciation or the capacity to understand it, and so it's really, really nice to, like, have people to, like, talk to and and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting all, like, rambly, I just, like, I feel like I can't really, like, express appreciation, properly, like, in all my videos, I always end up cutting down, like, at the end, I do all this, like, thank you stuff, and I, like, feel terrible asking people to subscribe because, like, this is why it's weird, right? It's like I'll watch bigger creators, especially commentary creators, and these I'm talking people with like over 500,000 subscribers or like between like maybe like 400,000 and a million subscribers, right? And they're like, "Oh my god, only like 60% of you are subscribed. Can you please hit the subscribe button? Please, please, please. It really helps. It really makes a difference. Like, I need you to subscribe. I need you guys to subscribe." And I'm like, "Damn, like a person with like 500,000 subscribers is like acting so like desperate." And it's not that it turns me off, like, for them, I mean, like, sometimes some of them do get a little bit like, but, um, I'm just like, what like, if those people are begging for subs, like, what right would I have to ask somebody to subscribe to, like, my dinky little channel? But, like, the way YouTube works is that, like, that's, like, the only way that it'll push your videos, and so if it doesn't, I'm still really lucky and grateful if I have one person. It's sort of like when I wear like a cosplay to a convention, I tend to do like really esoteric costumes. And so it's like if one person gets it, I'm extremely pleased. It's like I just need that one person's validation and I'll be happy. Yeah. My it's always the balance, right, between your desire to be recognized and, like, have photos taken of you, and also your desire to be, like, unique and not dressed in the same costume as everybody else. This I don't know how I feel about this, but I bought it, so I'm drinking it. Oh god, okay. Uh, okay, thank you. It is a relief to know that it's not just me, because like yeah, that whether that's a good or a bad thing, it's certainly unique. Bisexual finger guns. Thank you. Yeah, at least I feel crazy a lot, because I'm, like, a very, like, sensitive person. I try to anticipate what other people want and need, and so, like, I'll get all in my head about, like, "Oh, like, it's just me having a problem with this," or, like, "It's just me who finds this weird," and so, like, I tend not to bring these things up. Also, like, I wouldn't bring it up to, like, them if I would ever talk to them. Like, I wouldn't walk up to um, Einabber Fraser and be like, "You are really needy when you ask for subs." It's like a little off-putting. Like, in the end, like, you know, they're they're playing by a system and they're winning. So who am I to say it? It's sort of like with Rogue One, right? When I was just like, I walked out of that theater and everybody's just like losing their minds. And I'm like, that movie was not good. What is wrong with me? Am I brain broken? Like, that was really tricky. Okay, so I think some of these are going to be easier than others. Because, like, I think The Ritual for sure beats Jurassic Park. And I think Princess Mononoke has to beat Interstellar 5555, even though Daft Punk is amazing. Princess Mononoke is like among the greatest animated movies to ever exist. So I feel like it's only fair. So do I take the cards down as I pick, like the loser ones down, and then I have to like line them up, right? And then I have to add in the ones that are already in round two. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. Yeah. Okay. I'll just stick these over here. Come back to those later. They'll need to be put into the loser bracket, and then I'll have to. Man, you should have seen me when I was trying to do this just in a spreadsheet. Like, I just wrote all the movie titles. Well, like, first I was like, can I even come up with 100 movies? And I could very easily. It was just like, I was like, okay, like, let's see if I can name 100 movies that I like. And I could. And so it was like, okay, I will just type them into a spreadsheet in the order I thought them up, which was like no particular order, except for maybe like the first couple. And then I was like trying to like, it was, I did this like the first experiment. I went live. I deleted the VOD because it was like so cringe trying to compare 100 movies at a time. And like, it's easier to add movies in. It's way harder to just like start with 100 movies and be like, okay, let's try to like put these, like, this is why I need it to be like a physical thing, because otherwise my brain doesn't grasp it very well. All right, as much as I love David Bowie and puppets, I do think Doctor Strange is the stronger movie here. Now, this is also part of the issue, is that like my enjoyment level of movies doesn't necessarily follow how good the movie is, like cinematically. I don't know if you watch Super Eye Patch Wolf, but in one of his videos, it's his first Riverdale video, he talks about the concept of the mediocre valley. And so it's like the idea is that like on a scale of like enjoyable, like less enjoyable to very enjoyable, and then like really good to really bad or whatever, like really bad to really good. It's like it makes us like the enjoyment typically goes like this. So it's like you can enjoy something that's like so bad that it's good, and then you obviously can enjoy something really, really good. It's when stuff falls into the mediocre valley that it's bad usually. Yeah, right? I'm glad if you're chuckling along. One of my favorite things on earth is to make people smile. I know that sounds really like cheesy and like a fucking pageant girl answer, even though I've never done a pageant. I don't know, there's just something like warm and like fuzzy that like lights up inside me when like I make somebody laugh or smile. um, Even if it's at my expense. I don't know. I think that I don't know. I guess maybe it's a human like connection thing. Yeah, okay. So you get me. It's yeah, it's again, it's the curve, right? It's like it something can be just like really amazing. Like the two examples that John Super Eye Patch Wolf gives is like at the high end of enjoyment and quality, you have something like Cowboy Bebop, and then at the high end of enjoyment and bad quality, you have something like The Room. And then it's like if like it's just the stuff that's like bad, that's it's stuff that's like it's not even bad, it's just nothing, like it's just mediocre in a way that leaves it flavorless and unremarkable, and that's where you definitely don't wanna be. When I was doing my, like, 100 rapid horror movie review videos based on a project I had done back in 2022 when I was just like, "I'm gonna see how many movies I can watch this year." And then also I had found these, like, little notepads, I don't know, probably on, like, Shein or something. That was yeah, exactly. Yeah, a movie can be boring. Anyways, there were, like, little tiny notepads, right, that I was it had a review, like, it said review at the top, and then it had 5 hearts, and then just, like, a bunch of little lines. And so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna challenge myself to write a review for every movie I watched this year, but it has to fit on this tiny little page." One of my weaknesses in writing is that I can tend to be pretty verbose and go on, and I mean, even in videos, like, I'm trying to get, like, better with my editing so that there's less rambling and more just, like, a higher density of, like, good quality talking. So that was sort of, like, my challenge was that, like, can I get my reviews concise enough that they don't completely lose meaning, but they're still really short to fit on, like, a little, like, micro review thing. And I'm not gonna lie, some of them definitely lost meaning because they were so unmemorable that, like, it'll be like there was one that was like half of it was just like, "Oh, Billy Bob Thornton was really good. He was, like, the only enjoyable part of this movie." I think that was Into the Grizzly Maze. What a terrible movie. And the only reason I even turned it on was because the main character was being played by James Marsden, um, who played Cyclops in the X-Men movies, but I also love him from 30 Rock in the last season. Um, oh my god, yeah, Tolkien. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't mind, yeah, rambling. I actually had a very confident English teacher when I was, in the 8th grade, so when I was, like, 12, 13, I guess, um, who was like, "Yeah, we're gonna read The Two Towers." That is, like, not normal 8th grade reading, but, it was the year that I think yeah, it was the year that the Two Towers movie was coming out, and so she desperately wanted us to read it, and then we could go see the movie as a class, like, on a field trip, which we did, and it was amazing. So we got to see the Two Towers on, like, opening day as a class. It was pretty fun. Although, straight honesty, we only had to read one half of the book. So, basically, we were given the option to read either the Fellowship half or the Sam and Frodo half, and, like, I think like 90% of the class picked the fellowship half, myself included, because I think as an adult, I have more appreciation for like gentle character dynamic stuff. But at the time, I was like, also I wasn't nearly as like, to be honest, I was gonna say I wasn't nearly as queer because but I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I've always been very bisexual and like aware of it. But like, I remember the people who did read the Sam and Frodo part were like, oh my God, they're so gay. And I had no like frame of reference for I was like, I'm not gonna read that, all that. If Tolkien was a more concise writer, maybe, but I was like, I can't do like 3.5 pages of him describing like one landscape. Yeah, see, I guess it just depends. And like again, it was not in the curriculum. In fact, I'm pretty sure the other teachers were mad because they were like, that is too high reading level for whatever. And she was like, no, I think they can do it. And we did. And we did. I thought like but I was always reading like way above my grade level. That's something that like of all the things that I can say about myself that weren't like fantastic or anything. One thing is that like I am a good reader and a fast reader. I would devour books. My mom would like get mad when I was a kid because she'd take me to the library and I would take out like a stack of like, like Babysitter's Club and like or like Magic Tree House and like all those like puberty age books for kids. It's like not quite teenagers, but like not little kids. Anyways, and I would just like read them all in like a night, and then she'd be like, "I just fucking took those out." um, yeah, and then like when Harry Potter came out, forget it. I would be like determined to read those whole books in one sitting. I admit that Tolkien was a lot, even for me, but it definitely drove my understanding of like setting a lot more. I feel like I didn't like to be a good writer, you have to be a reader, and even better is to read stuff that you like and that you don't like and learn lessons from both. And it's not that I didn't like Tolkien. I like the story, obviously. Um, but again, it's just like I feel as an adult, I probably would have read the whole thing and enjoyed the Sam and Frodo part a lot more. Um, what can I say? I guess I was kind of an impatient kid. To be honest, I probably could have been like an A+ student if I cared enough, but I was always a little bit like, I could put 50% more effort into this and get an A, or I could like not and get a B+ and then like play or do whatever I wanted to do. um, okay. I know it seems insane to pick Repo the Genetic Opera over Ocean's 11, but I think I have to because Repo the Genetic Opera has a very special place in my heart. Oh my God, really? Me too. Okay, at school we had a readathon, and this was grade 7, yeah. So I would have been like, this would have been even before I read Tolkien. Was my uncle gave me Cujo, and that was definitely not appropriate. And it wasn't the dog part that was not appropriate for like an 11, 12-year-old. It was the very like descriptive sex parts. Like in Cujo, there's a whole cheating plot line, and like the way that like cheating guy like tells the husband is that he talks about like she has like a birthmark on her hoo-ha. And I'm like, but when you're like, that's, I don't know, kind of one of those things that's frightening about children and like about parenthood. That's like part of why I don't like, I don't, I could never, oh my God. And it's not that I hate kids. I don't, I just, the way a kid's mind works is just a little bit scary in hindsight because they can think that they are prepared to handle things that they are not. Um, yeah, okay, Pet Sematary. Yeah, I read that one later. It made me upset because I get way more upset about animals than people. And I was like, I don't like that the cat dies. I don't know why. I guess, like, again, like with Cujo, it didn't bother me as much because, like, the dog was sick already. It's like the quality of life mattered. And then I think after that one, I read The Dead Zone, which I think they made a movie of, but I never watched it. It's actually kind of crazy how much seminal horror cinema is based on Stephen King books. Like, so much of the current horror zeitgeist is based off of things that Stephen King made. I mean, like, it is still going. Yes, okay, and that is why I can't handle slasher movies very well because, like, they always kill an animal first. That's like, oh, like, they know that the killer is around now because he murdered their cat or their dog, and it's like, the cat didn't do anything to the murderer. Go murder those horny teenagers. Like, you know? Yeah, um embarrassing story, to be captured for the VOD, but, I was watching the first Wicked movie, and I love musicals, okay, and I like Wicked and everything, but it gets to the part, there's a part where they're, like, in the classroom, and they take Professor Didymus, the goat man or, like, not goat man, he's a goat, talking goat, away, and then, like, the guy comes in to explain that, like, animals are supposed to be animals and, like, whatever, and they're not people, and just, um to do this, like, demonstration or whatever, he pulls out a little lion cub, I think, a lion cub, yeah, in a cage, in, like, a little cage, and this lion cub is completely CGI. It's, like, not even, like, that realistic. Like, if you've seen Wicked, you know that, like, even the animals that are supposed to be real are, like, sort of fantastical looking because it's magic, right? Um, and, like, immediately, as soon as he pulls this, like, little cat out in a cage, I am already, like, holding my breath and, like, not like, I'm like, "This is not it." And then it, like, growls at him, and he hits the cage with, like, his, like, I don't know, like a ruler, like a stick, I don't fucking know. Anyways, and then the cat, like, cowers and, like, whimpers and hides or whatever, and the whole point is for him to show that, like, animals are supposed to be subservient, but when that happened, I just burst into tears, and I don't mean, like, a little bit of, like, "Oh, like, I can just wipe it away." No, I mean, like, anime, like, and I had to turn the movie off. I was like, "Sorry, like, I literally, like, I need to take a break." I never went back because it was like that's Wicked, okay? And that animal didn't even die, and it wasn't even that realistic, and I still couldn't handle it. It's like, this is how you know that, like, I don't know. Then again, I'm also the kind of person who, like, in a store I'll buy like a plushie or something that's like broken or like malformed, like sewn wrong, because it's like, what if nobody else will love it? I need somebody to love it. And I feel bad for it. Horror street cred. What a concept. I think I don't have very good horror street cred. Let's see. I do think I watched the first Halloween, although when I watched it, I was like very, it was like early college days. I just been introduced to a little bit of the smoking, and when you're with a friend and you're high and you're watching a horror movie from the 80s, it can lose some of the fear, especially if you start picking apart things. Like, I am a person who, like, can totally put myself into the headspace of, like, a movie that was made in its time. I don't like, some people are like, "Ugh, I can't even watch movies from, like, even, like, the '90s because like, the graphics are just so bad, like, it's so obvious." And it's like, well, like, yeah, but you have to, like, put yourself in the mindset of the '90s, like, or whatever. And that's actually part of why I'm able to enjoy J-horror so much, in my opinion, is because, like, the original Ju-on the Grudge and, Ringu and, even 2000s Uzumaki, like, to a Western audience, that some of the horror is, like, almost goofy because it's, like, very differently portrayed than, like, the way it would be here. And if you're able to put yourself into the mindset of, like, you're just, like, getting into the world, getting past the meta narrative and just into, like, the story, like, those movies are actually extremely scary, especially Ju-on the Grudge. Holy cow. And, like, the American one, like, the remake one from, like, 2020 or whatever, like, we're not even talking about that one. That one was hot garbage. I'm pretty sure I rated it 1 star. But even the one from, like, when they first released it back in, like, the 2000s, it doesn't hold a candle to the original Japanese one, and the original Japanese one is, like, way, way less, like, graphically intense. It's crazy how, like, sound, like, really makes a really, really big difference for fear, in my opinion, like, to evoke a fear response. If you have, like, that's why I think I've said it in other videos, but, like, in horror, I think, like, 50% of the scares at least is all in the sound editing. Oh my gosh, no wonder we're connecting so much. Yeah, the bursting out in hysterical tears over a CGI lion, autist brain. I feel you. Um, yeah, but even that was only, like, very, like, late, like, again, like, I would have been, like, 19 or 20 when that happened. Um, Horror was actually completely banned in my house growing up. My mother wouldn't let me watch anything that even looked scary, and that was completely based on her, like, just changing random criteria. So, um, like, there's a lot of stuff that, like, even Jurassic Park, I didn't see that until, like, I was well into my 20s for the first time because it was just, like, everything, like, Nightmare Before Christmas, for example, was banned because, like, looks too scary. So, I was actually a little bit stunted that way, for horror. Um, but eventually, like, you make friends who are really into horror, and, that person who I was watching Halloween with, also I watched, the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh my gosh, yes, but holy cow, talk about a gorgeous series. Apparently, it was because it was all animated on, like, black cells instead of clear, like, like cell layering for, like, animation. Love Batman. I was pretty lucky with superheroes because my dad intervened a lot on those. Um, he would let us watch, like, all the old, like, 60s, like, Spider-Man, and, like, Superman, Superboy, uh, and I know it's not technically a superhero, but Johnny Quest was, like, a huge part of my growing up, but that's, like, a show that, like, nobody knows anymore, and I mean, like, it was way before my time. Again, it's like a Hanna-Barbera show from the '60s, but, something that I really loved growing up. Yeah, I don't know, I guess, like, in some ways, I was resentful because I felt like I wasn't allowed to do something that, like, everybody else was, and and, like, when you find out that you're autistic as an adult, you look back on all these childhood experiences, and you're like, "Oh, that's what that was." And, like, I'm such a rules follower that, like, even when I had the opportunity to do stuff, like, away from my parents, like, I still wouldn't. Like, I would, like, at a sleepover, I would just, like, get up and go and sit in another room and, like, read if my friends were watching a scary movie because I was like, "No, I'm not allowed." And it's like, "Why was I like that?" And it's like, "Oh, no, I that's why." Um, okay, I really love the escape room movies, but I don't think that I could ever rate a sequel like PG-13 horror movie over Monty Python, even even in enjoyment's sake. I think Life of Brian is probably the strongest movie, out of all of their, like, kind of, like, classic, um obviously, Holy Grail is really amazing, but I think Life of Brian is, like, just way more comedically dense, and, like, high quality, comedically dense. Mm. And I guess even though I love Spider-Man 2, um, I did see Inception in the theater like 6 times, so it probably deserves to stay. I do think that too goes over Dogma, though. Sorry, Kevin Smith, and sorry to the people watching this VOD who are gonna be mad about that. It's maddening, though, because it was clearly meant to be a trilogy. The 2nd movie, like, the way they end it, it's not just like, "Oh, there could be a sequel." It's like they stop it in the middle of action, and they're like, "Oh, there's gonna be a sequel." And then pandemic happened, I guess, and all those movies got canceled. Although I did hear recently that apparently Now You See Me 3 is being made, and there's another movie that I was like, "We need another one, we need another one, we need another one." Those are, like, my comfort movies. I will watch them just, like, over and over and over again. Um, I don't know what it is. I love Jesse Eisenberg, and he is a very weird man. I was watching an interview with him, and it's just like, "You are very bizarre," and, like, I like weird, but, like, his mindset is very interesting. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I also absolutely adore, the escape room movies, not the terrible escape room from, like 2016 or whatever, the good one. Um, that's like the first one uh, has like Deborah Ann Wall in it as like one of the players. I think she's probably the most famous person in those. I really like Tournament of Champions. Um, in fact, I might like it more in a way because I thought the characters were more interesting, but it's hard. It's hard. It's not as straightforward as like say like the original Star Wars trilogy, for example. I will die on the hill that A New Hope is the best of the three. A lot of people say Empire is the best, but again, when you have a movie that is like made to have a sequel versus could have a sequel, those are like two extremely different things, right? And so I think because A New Hope tells a complete story, it feels very satisfying. Like you get the character growth, like done in a way that feels like complete. And you're like, yeah, I totally could watch more adventures of these characters. Um, but like you don't need to. And I think that that's probably sort of one of the issues with like modern media, and like not to have like that take, because like talk about a extremely room temperature take that like, oh, franchises focus too much on being franchises and not enough on like actually building a story. But it is true. uh, Galaxy Quest is probably one of the best parody movies out there. It's actually very good. I don't care that much for Tim Allen as a person, but I love Alan Rickman and I love Sigourney Weaver. I really loved loved Alan Rickman. I mean, I love him still, but like I did not handle his death well. This is a thing that like is kind of embarrassing to admit, but like I swear I've been in general more upset about the deaths of artists who made stuff that affected me more than I've ever been affected by like the death of somebody who I like knew in person. And I'm very fortunate that I haven't yet lost like a parent or like heaven forbid like a sibling. I wouldn't know that kind of pain. um I okay, I tried to watch the new series, or the new series, the original series, but I'm really a Next Generation person. That's the one that like I rewatched like over and over and over. Like it's really good to just put on as background noise. It has all the characters I like, and I liked Deep Space Nine. I think that Deep Space Nine is actually a fantastic, really, really underrated show. To anyone watching, if you like war, like war stuff, watch Deep Space Nine. It's so like it's like very, very plot heavy and like much more like a full story, and less like episodic, like the way that Next Generation is. But I really did try to watch the original series. And I told you I'm good at putting myself back in the time period. It's not that it's like cheesy or whatever. That's not the problem. It's just that like it just wasn't like interesting enough. I'm sure that's probably blasphemous to say. I'm so sorry. Um yeah. I don't know. I don't is that Aw. Okay, well that's really cute then. Yeah. Yeah. Picard is like he's like the captain. Like, what do you even say? Um, I also really like Troy because, like, as an empath myself, like, obviously not to a Betazoid level, but I am a person who like really picks up on other people's emotions strongly and like am legitimately good at like guessing what people are feeling before that they have expressed it because I can just pick up on like the tiniest little cues, vocal tone, body language. Like there's a lot that will give away somebody's mental state. And so I kind of felt like, yeah, although, like, there are so many, like, just, like, beautiful stories that have come out of TOS, like, it really did, like, a lot of incredible things for, like, social issues at the time, even if it wasn't, like, a direct cause of any specific change, it contributed to, yeah, it, like, contributed to society being progressive, and, like, I always think of that, that Whoopi Goldberg story about how when she was a kid and she watched Star Trek the first time and she saw Uhura, um, Nichelle Nichols, and God, what a beautiful woman, even into old age. Um, I'm sure you know the story. She was like, "Oh, like mama, there's a black lady on TV and she ain't no maid," like, and then like that gave her the confidence to like become an actor, and then like I mean she like EGOTed or whatever, and like I mean she again like people as people aren't always the greatest, but like I don't know, that story always kind of warms my heart because it's like you can really see the kind of things that like representation can do for somebody when like and like the whole like representation matters thing, because like when people see themselves then they feel like, yeah, I can be that too. Yeah, see, yeah. I was more telling it for the sake of the VOD, for anyone who might watch, because like I'm sure like I obviously any Trekkie would know that story. Um yeah, I think a lot of people, if I'm like I was a kid when like later Next Generation would have been airing. I think probably you and I are around the same age based on context clues. Um, so I didn't, but I was like, again, like too young to, like, my parents watched Next Generation quite a bit. They liked it. They're not Trekkies, but they like it was just one of those interesting things about how like Star Trek used to be a show for stay-at-home moms. Um, and then it became like this massive staple of geek culture. It was like literally like a space show for ladies, and extremely importantly was like the progenitor of fan fiction, of fan art, of like magazines created and distributed by fandoms. Like I'm pretty sure the Star Trek fandom like invented a lot of things. I mean, like, I think they also invented, like, conventions. They've really done a lot of good things. Um, I think I have, like, the formative memories with Star Wars, so that's generally like, I've generally been more of a Star Wars person, but I'm really glad that, like, I let people introduce me to Star Trek because yeah, Next Generation is really, really good, and DS9 is, but, like, DS9 is also heavy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, the Mary Sue. Exactly. Man, I have, like, a bit of an issue with my writing where, like, if I ever write a self-insert character and like, okay, this is like, oh, I write fan fiction, surprise. But I have this issue where if I write a self-insert character, I'm like kind of like mean because I'm like, oh, like first of all, like I'm very concerned about characters ever coming across Mary Sue like, so I make them extremely flawed. But also it's like a confidence thing. It's like, oh, I don't deserve like XYZ thing that could only happen in fan fiction. So I better be really mean to this character that represents me so that they have to struggle in order to earn whatever I'm writing towards. Self-loathing is a funny thing, the way it can take shape. Okay. I think I just have to pick between The Matrix and Now You See Me 1, which I think is pretty easy because Now You See Me 2 is the stronger movie, in my opinion. Okay, well, I guess we did the first. I did the first round of my movies, so um man, I don't know how people can stream for like 8 hours. Like sometimes I'll see like people who have streamed for like 4, 5, 6, 8 hours. Like I'm loving just having a conversation with one person. And I assume I would probably get really overwhelmed if there was a lot of people like talking to me. And I guess like you learn and you pick it up, but it's like energy, man. Like I mean, it's the same as filming a video. Like filming, while I go faster now, I tend to get better at not screwing up. Although, oh no, not at all. I'm extremely happy for it. We've had a great conversation and I've loved getting to tell these stories. And like, it definitely is easier to talk when you have like a person to bounce stuff off of. I guess that's why like most podcasts are two people, because like, I mean, I can talk to myself. I was doing pretty good like for the first however long before you got here. um no, you didn't derail it at all. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed talking to you. You also need to go to bed, I'm sure. I am probably keeping you awake by going live at night. um I don't know if I'm that much of a live streamer, but I really wanted to try it to see like how it would be. And I really like interacting with people. So if maybe I have opportunities, I'll try streaming at like different times of day on different days, see when like there's people who might be interested and who I'm not keeping awake because I want them to hang out. And I feel bad if people are, you know, um, sacrificing anything like sleep, because sleep is precious. I know. I'm pretty happy with my uh, rainbow shape freckles I did with my stamp pen. Might do that again sometime. Oh my god, it's seriously, you do need to go to sleep. I'm glad you had so much fun. I had so much fun too. Thank you so much for joining me. Seriously, this has been a blast. I really glad I got to talk to you. I was not going to say it, but I was sort of secretly hoping that maybe you would be around because we always have really good conversations. So maybe it was meant to be. That whole like deciding not to film earlier allowed me to stream now. So the universe messages, gotta listen. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try to have fun with it, bring something a little different every time. I have a lot of different wigs. I'm trying to keep them rolling, not duplicate too much. Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna sign off, and I will hopefully go live again to do the next round, and eventually we will get through these 100 movies eventually at some point, potentially, maybe, I don't know. I guess I will sign off for the VOD as well. If anyone ends up watching this in the future, hopefully you don't mind the conversation. I don't know. Who cares? I had a really good time and it's my channel, so whatever. Yeah, you definitely don't need to set like notifications or anything, but check in. I'm gonna try to be more active too and stuff. So yeah, yeah, I'm really glad. Okie dokie. I am signing off. I hope everybody, and by everybody, I mean Swigromancer, has a good night. And I will see you soon.